Hi guys, welcome back. Today I will be showing you how to replace the drive cable on your snowblower. Some of the symptoms you may experience if you have a bad or broken drive cable on your snowblower is that you will not have any drive at all on your snowblower. And in some cases, if the cable is not totally broken, once you hit resistance with the wheels, the drive will slip. So just follow me along in this video and I'm going to show you how to replace that cable. It's not that hard to do. Anybody watching the video will be able to do it. Now the tools you will need today are a few pairs of pliers like this, a 3/8 wrench, a 3/8 socket with an extension, a 1/4 inch drive ratchet with a 7/16 socket, and if you have a 1/4 inch impact you can use that instead of using the manual tools here. And today I'll be doing this on a Mastercraft snowblower made by MTD. Now the procedure will be slightly different depending on the make and model of your snowblower, however the principle will still be the same. What I do when I replace a drive cable is I put my snowblower up like this. Now you can put a piece of wood here to make the angle not as steep. And it's a good idea to disconnect the spark plug boot and put it away from the spark plug. Also, by having a sandwich bag here underneath the gas cap, it prevents fuel from leaking out. Also, you want to make sure that the oil cap is nice and tight. To disconnect the drive cable from underneath, you need to remove the belly pan. Usually you're going to find some 3/8 bolts holding the belly pan. They're going to be on top here or on the sides. Today I'll be using my 1/4 inch impact. If you don't have one of these, you can use a ratchet and a socket. Now once you have the belly pan off, you want to disconnect the drive cable from where it's hooked on to your snowblower. And on the snowblower here, it's connected right down here. So what I'm going to do is grab that little spring down here, hold on really good to it, and then disconnect it. Now usually when you do this job, the cable will be snapped, so it's going to be very easy to disconnect it. Sometimes it will already be disconnected because the spring will have broken down here, and it will be totally off from this metal piece here. So now I'm going to push up, just going to turn it, and now you've got the bottom disconnected. Now you will need to loosen the 7/16 bolt to get the cable out from that little pulley. And once you got the bolt loose, you can just move the pulley over as much as you can and pull on the cable. Now you want to follow the cable right up to the handle lever. And now you're going to need a pair of pliers and a 3/8 wrench. You need to undo this little nut here and then unscrew the part of the cable from the Z-bend here. It's called the Z-bend because the part that the cable screwed in does have a Z-bend at the end that goes into the lever, as you can see right here. So now just simply hold this part of the cable right here, loosen up this nut here. One tip here is you can make a remark of how high the cable was screwed into the Z-bend here. You can leave the nut pretty well where it was. And then when you put the new cable on, you can screw it right up to that nut. By doing that, you're going to keep the same adjustment on the cable that you previously had. So now just unscrew it. Now if your cable is seized to the Z-bend here, you can grab a propane torch or a MAP torch and heat it up over here. Hold it with pliers, make sure you don't burn your hands, and it should unseize itself. Sometimes rust builds up in there and the only way to get it off is by heating it. So there's quite a bit. And now it's going to come right off. Now this cable's good, so what I'm going to do is just reinstall it. Now the part number for this specific cable on this specific snowblower is 9460898. This is the OEM part number right here, and this is the Oregon part number 46-006. This is actually an aftermarket cable. They're actually quite good. This one comes from discountonlineparts.com, and there is a link under the video today to where you can buy this specific cable for your snowblower if that's the one you need. Now this cable here does come with the new Z-bend. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. If you decide not to use it, just simply re-screw on your cable on the old Z-bend and hook up your cable. Actually, what I'm going to do today is just reinstall the old cable because I'm doing this video today for educational purposes only. I didn't have a blower in the shop today with a broken cable, so I thought I would just take it off, put it back on. It's the exact same procedure. A good tip before you screw on back the cable is put a bit of anti-seize here. Then you're guaranteed that when you go to replace it later on, it's not going to be fused on there by rust. I'm just going to apply a thin film. And I'm going to screw the cable back up to its original place, right where that nut is. And I'll hold the bottom part here with some good pliers and tighten up the 3/8 nut at the top. And I'm going to connect the drive cable in the hole here. I'm going to grab a pair of good needle nose pliers, lift up the disc if I can, or the part here. And if you had a little spring like this, make sure to reconnect that as well and reconnect it on the bottom part of the blower here. And now you want to run the cable onto the little pulley over here. And now just tighten up the 7/16 bolt. And now you want to test it out to make sure it's connected and works well. And you should see the metal disc here go up and down, which is good in this case. Now what you want to do right now is check the tension on your cable. You want a bit of slack. Actually, this one here is a bit tight. I must have over tightened it when I put it back on. Because I've done that, I'm going to loosen the 3/8 nut over here again. I'm going to loosen the cable. And I'm going to retighten up the nut. And this here is a much better tension. It's not too tight. If your cable's too tight, what's going to happen is that it will put way too much pressure on the rubber disc here and you're going to get premature wear on it. So it's actually quite critical that you adjust this cable properly. Now on the other hand, if the cable was way too loose, what would happen is there wouldn't be enough pressure on the rubber disc and the metal disc, and your drive will not work properly. So oftentimes if it feels like your wheels are slipping, it could be that the cable is not tight enough. All you have to do now is reinstall the belly pan. And if you use an impact like this to reinstall the bolts, make sure you do not over tighten them because you can strip the holes. And once you have it back down, you can rehook the spark plug boot, take off the bag from the gas cap. Now I'm going to start it up and just test it in the shop here. If you try it out indoors, make sure that you have good ventilation. So I'm pretty happy with the way it's working. What you want to do is make sure it's working like I showed you. When the lever's up, the machine should not be driving itself at all. If the machine is driving itself when the lever is up like that, the cable could be way too tight. And on the other hand, if the lever is down here and it will not drive, the cable may be too loose. If your cable is set properly and you still do not have a drive, it could be the belt or it could be the drive disc that is the problem in your machine. So as you saw in the video, it's not that hard to replace the cable on your snowblower. Now this procedure will vary from different make of snowblower to another, but it's all going to be the same principle when it comes to installing the cable and adjusting it. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and Instagram, and have yourselves a great day.